Now a story that could affect people all over the world. A controversial academic paper has been published, and it describes how the deadly bird flu virus could easily be spread among people. A scientific advisory board has suggested that some of the data actually be censored from this paper, but then later reversed its warning. If it fell into the wrong hands, it could certainly turn into a deadly biological weapon. Elizabeth Cohen joins us now live from Atlanta. So what is going on here, and how is this going to end up? Are we going to get the information? Is it already out there anyway? And I hate to say, is this all academic, but what is the story?
Ashley, it's out there. It's now in Science, in the journal Science, which is a widely disseminated journal. You and I and everyone else can go online and basically read how you can make a super deadly version of the bird flu virus. I mean, it's right there, and that obviously has a lot of people concerned because then it could possibly fall into the wrong hands.
It's not as though other dangerous information isn't already out there on the web. You theoretically could build your own nuclear bomb at this point. But how did this one get out there? And wasn't there any concern about censoring before it got out?
Yes, there were some people out there who said, A, don't publish it at all, and other people said, B, publish it, but sort of redact, leave out some of the most vital parts of it. But the NIH basically decided, you know what, go ahead and do the whole thing. And there were kind of two reasons behind that. There were several, but here are the two big ones. One, you want legitimate scientists to see this information because you want good scientists around the world to be on the lookout for this bug and to know what they're looking for. Two, you want good scientists to develop a vaccine so that if this does happen, we'll have a vaccine ready to fight it. So that's why they decided to do it. The other big reason is, Ashley, by the time this became an issue, by the time people started asking all these questions, it was out there. Hundreds of people have already seen it. I was talking to bioethicist Art Kaplan about this just today, and he said, look, the journal editors had seen it, the folks who reviewed this had seen it, the lab techs had seen it, the cat was out of the bag.
So how easy is this actually? I mean, we all know it's a little tricky to get your hands on uranium, so we know that we got that covered. But what about bird flu? Is this a tricky project? Is it something an 11th grade science fair student could actually pull off, or is it really tricky?
Art Kaplan said to me, Elizabeth, don't worry about some, crazy high school student doing this. This is too difficult. It takes specialized knowledge. Even even a smart terrorist on his own couldn't do this. You need a very sophisticated lab. Now, could a rogue nation do this? A nation with some nice, big, fancy labs? That is possible, but it is interesting to note they couldn't do it that quickly. It would take, it's not a matter of weeks or a matter of months, it really would likely take years to use this information to make this terrible superbug.
I'm going back in my mind, and that's never a good thing, especially on the fly, as to how dangerous this epidemic was when we covered it a couple of years ago. How many people have actually died from bird flu?
Right. It's an important question because people talk about bird flu and sort of flip out, and let's get some numbers behind the actual flipping. So when bird flu so far has affected 602 people. So 602 people got infected. 355 of those died. And so, Ashley, it doesn't take a mathematician to figure out that is more than a 50% mortality rate. That is not good. And so that's the bad news. The good news is that this virus does not spread easily person to person, and that's what the superbug would do. If you could create a superbug version of this that spread easily person to person, you've then got a virus with more than a 50% mortality rate spreading person to person easily. That's a problem.
Yeah, and that's the thing we're talking about, which is why this makes it so concerning. All right, so you can't take the weekend off then. You have to stay on it.
That's right. I'll be here watching out for bird flu.
I love it. Elizabeth Cohen, thanks very much.
Thanks,
appreciate
Ashley.
that. Reminder to our viewers, too, if you want to be an empowered patient, I highly recommend it. You can read her book. You can also check out her blog on CNN.com.